This example comes from 6.2, sum difference double angle identity. In this example, we're asked to find the exact value of sine 5 pi over 12. Now 5 pi over 12 shouldn't be a number that you recognize off of our unit circle. It's not a multiple of 30, 45, 60, 90, etc. But it might be hard for you to picture what 5 pi over 12 actually is. It might be more useful for you to say right away, let's change that into degrees and say 5 pi over 12 times 180 degrees for every pi radians equals 75 degrees. Now that's a lot easier to picture for most people. If you're really strong with radians, then stick with radians and you say, well, what adds up to 5 pi over 12? Pi over 6 plus pi over 4, but most people aren't that confident with their common denominators and adding fractions. But I think all of you, if you started off with sine of 75 degrees, could say without too much calculator calculation that 45 plus 30 equals 75. So if I look at my identity first, my sum identity for sine, it's sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. So sine of 45 degrees times cosine of 30 degrees plus cosine of 45 degrees times sine of 30 degrees. Now these should all be numbers. I hope that you know off your unit circle. If not, you're doing some extra work with calculators and special triangles and whatever else. But sine of 45 is root 2 over 2. Cosine of 30 is root 3 over 2. Cosine of 45 is also root 2 over 2. And sine of 30 is a half. So I end up with root 6 over 4 plus root 2 over 4. I already have a common denominator, so I can say root 6 plus root 2 over 4 as my final answer. Now, you might recognize from an earlier example that we actually found cosine of 15 degrees, I believe it was, and it gave us the exact same answer, root 6 plus root 2 over 4. That's not an accident. 15 degrees and 75 degrees would fit within the same right angle triangle. If you were to draw a tiny little triangle here, if I put 15 degrees in one corner, 75 degrees must go in the other if this is a right angle triangle. And so if you look at the sides and label some as opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, you realize that sine of 75 degrees is going to be the exact same ratio as cosine of 15 degrees. So, you know, you can find all kinds of examples of this. Cosine of 30 is the same thing as sine of 60, etc. So if they fit within the same right angle triangle, you can save yourself a bit of work, but the the sum identity above got us to the answer anyway.